guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be doing something slightly different in that we're going to try and illuminate our cabinet with some LED strips, but not in the normal way where it's on and off. No. We are going to try and make them colour changing, and not only that, integrate them with our Crestron, or with my Crestron home automation software that I've got here, which kind of currently does does my lights throughout the cabin and throughout my house. So we are going to try and get these color changing LED strips to come on with the faction colors for our armies. So Khorne will be red, orcs will be green, that kind of thing. So let's have a look at the cabinet and what we've got in here. So this is the cabinet. We've got our Khorne army up here. Quite a few shells of Khorne. I've taken the orc ones out already because they're the easiest to take out, but this shelf comes out here. And then we have got Slaves to Darkness and Fire Slayers down here. Now what I've done is I've got these LED strips from a company called Simply Lighting, .co.uk, and what they've done for me is actually just check. What they should have done is they should have cut these strips to more or less the length of the shelf. And they're not cut to the exact same length because of whereabouts you can cut the LED tape, but it is more or less there. So hopefully a lot of the hard work has been done for us already. So that goes there. Yeah, so that practically goes the whole way across. Push that to the other end. And then what you can see is we've got a little bit of give at the end to flex the cable through. And what I've asked them to do is to solder on 2 meter tails, or 2.5 meter tails, for us so we can get all the way up the cabinet. And not only that, I've ordered these diffusers for the LED tape to sit in, which we'll need to cut to length. But yeah, so the idea is to put a diffuser under each shelf and then light them up to whatever colour we want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to test the theory and power these up with our Crestron driver to see if we can actually get them to change colour. Right, so we're going to put this thing together. So this is the Crestron interface. It's going to act as our power supplier or our LED driver. The part number is, if you're interested, CLC 1LED PWM RGBW. So the RGBW is red, green, blue, and then the W is for white, meaning it can do white as well, which is quite important. So we want it to be white as default, but it'd be nice if we can get it to change the colour as and when on demand is the dream. So let's plug this in. You've got your positive and your RGBW and whatnot. So let's power this up. We have a light. Excellent. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to acquire this to our RF gateway. Now I know the RF gateway for this area is sitting at this IP address, so let's wait for it to come up. Okay, so we are going to go to Infinite X Gateway. We're going to start acquiring. We're going to put this guy into acquire mode. Okay, splashing away. We should see it come up here in a second. There it is. Excellent. Let's stop acquiring. Now we are going to need to give it a valid RFID number because 01 is not a valid RFID. Okay, here it is with the cross, so it doesn't like it. So let us add it in our program. I've already done it. RFID 10. Okay. Change network ID 10. There we go. Valid. Excellent. So if we go to this thing, cabin, different controls, here we are. So red, green, blue, and white. Let's put them into there. Let's upload that. Okay, now let's go into our debugger. Little bugger. Okay. Right, let's plug in our light. Now that we've got debugger up, everything is set to 0. So let's give white 100, so I think it goes between 0 and 100. Okay, so that's come on. Let's see if we can turn our lights off so you can see. Doesn't seem very bright. I wonder if we can give these okay. Let's add this. Let's put these under here. Okay, so they're working. I wonder if we can make this percent. Whoa, there we go. That's what we're talking about. Right, so we are going between, let's just do a test. Corn red. Right, that's interesting. So corn red, 40, so 41%, 0 and 0.39%. Okay, So red is 41.57. You may not like that. 41. Okay. So white is 0. To 1%. Green is 0. And blue is, call it 1%. Actually 0.39%. No, it doesn't look quite like corn red. There's going to be some tweaking to do, but we will work out the algorithm, but the theory works. So let's get fitting on these guys. Alright, so before we go and cut the profiles, what I want to do is just get an understanding of where the LED tape is going to go. Now what I've seen is a lot of people put their LED tape at the end, at the back. You kind of get this kind of colour where it's a bit dull because it's not shining on the front, which is what you want people to see. So if we bring it forward, bring our tape forward, you can see you get a much nicer colour coming from it. We obviously don't want it right at the front, otherwise you'll see it from the shelf. But if we go about a quarter of the way down the shelf, you kind of get both. You get both wells where you get a nice wash over what you're trying to highlight, and you won't really see the profile too much. Okay, so I've got my shelf out, and I'm going to measure what we've got. So 30 inches. Probably going to leave an inch at the end for the cable to come out and flex around comfortably. So is an inch going to do it? Yeah, that should be fine. So we're going to cut it to 29 inches. Okay, I'm going to go and get these cut now for all the shelves. I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the brackets that come with these, and making sure you know which is the front edge. So this is the back edge that you're not going to see because it's not got the vinyl cover on it. So from the front edge, I think we want to go roughly about there. So it is 10 inches more or less deep. So we go 4 inches in, that's kind of just under halfway. Now, a little tip is make sure your screws won't go all the way through your shelf or whatever you're screwing into. I've got two sizes here. I'm going to start off with the smaller one. I mean, even that one won't go through, but it's a bit tight. So I'm going to start off with the smaller one. If need be, I can then move on to the bigger one. Make sure they're the same distance apart so your LED strip goes straight. Then let's take the diffuser out. Pop this guy in. Okay, I suspect it needs to sit underneath the lip, so you can pop the plastic diffuser back in. There we go. LED tape does come with a sticky background. Okay, that looks good. All right, let's stick it down. Okay, I spent a few extra minutes just putting the end caps on. I had to re-drill this one out a bit to get all the cables through, because I think it was designed for a 2 or 3 core cable rather than 5. But yeah, so that's a complete LED strip now, which we can slide around or even take out of the clips and flip around if we want to bring the tails through the other side of the shelf. So that's one shelf done. I've got 5 more to do, so let's get cracking with those. Right, so I've done all the shelves, and the only extra thing that I've done is I've put this black gaffer tape over there to hold the cables in, so you won't see the colour of the cables on the shelf. I've also done the top one there because that wasn't on the shelf, and this one here because that's the middle supporting bit. Right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew the cabinet from the wall and bring it out so we can dress the cables. So let's pull this out and get the trunking on. Just as well, because there's nothing really to screw into, so we're going to take that. Luckily this is, you don't need to cut it either. It's a 2 meter length, so it seems to be just as well for the cabinetry. Poke that here because we're going in the corner. I did try and get black trunking, but they didn't have any at the store. Okay, so I've taken the cabinet off the wall and I've taken the doors off because that makes it very unstable. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off now that it's not tethered to the wall, so we don't want it to topple on us as we're working on it. And now what we're going to do is we are going to drill holes in the corner where our shelving is going to go, and we're going to poke the cables out from there. And this is optional if you want to do it, but I've got some trunking and I'm going to pop that in the corner there to dress the cables as they come in, so they're all held together in here so it can move as a unit. Okay, so let's get that going. So I've put the unit back now, and as you can see, we can't see any cables, which was nice. So we've got a nice clean finish. I mean, obviously you can see the cables at the top, but we're going to fit those. I've just put them out of the way there. And for now, so let's put the doors back on. Right, so I put the doors back on now. What I've got now is I've got some Velcro, and I'm just going to run the cables to come out strip along the top of it, and I'm going to stick our drivers on, because we're going to have four of these down just so they don't move. I don't really want to yeah, we don't want to really, damage the cabinet. Plus, it also means you can take it off if you ever need to work on it without having to unscrew it. So I'm just going to go and do that, and then I'm going to connect our tails up, connect it to power, and then hopefully we'll get some lights on. I'm going to gaffer tape this one up and then do the same with these four shelves, and then we will be back. Now we have all the drivers connected and labelled up. So I'm just going to go and pair these up to the system like we did at the beginning of the video, and then we'll be back and ready to turn on some lights. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, I've put all the models back into the shelves, and I've coded up all the drivers and programmed them all to come on at the same time. Normally they would be on the light switch that controls this area marked cabinet, but just for today's purposes I put them on this Crestron remote, so you can see that they all come on either as red, I mean I've only done just a few options, green and blue, and that's all done through your colour controllers, whichever one you wanted, and then obviously you got off. If you go for the RGBW option, which is what I've done, you can also do a nice white light. That's what the W stands for. Sorry if I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but you get a nice white light on the cabinet if you wanted that for day-to-day presentation. Because we went through the time and expense of splitting out each shelf for a separate controller, you can do cool stuff like this. You can have a separate colour for each shelf, and for us I've just done that as the faction colours. You know, why not? It's just a bit of fun. Also, going on from that, I've done a bit of coding. You're not going to be able to do this under normal circumstances, but with integrating software you can. We are going to randomly light up each shelf, and it's going to cycle through and stop on a random shelf. So for example, if you didn't know which army you wanted to pick, you could do it this way, and what it will do is it will just cycle through, getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and end up on a random shelf. There we go, Fire Slayers. So that'll be the army for today, if that's what we wanted to play. Let's do it again. Hopefully it'll give us a different random result rather than Fire Slayers again. Hey, orcs. Okay, so that's just a bit of fun that you can have with it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a very fun project to do, just thinking outside the box. If there's any questions you guys may have, if you want to try and do this at home, just feel free to give me a shout. I'll try and answer any questions that you come across. But yeah, have fun, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next one. Catch you later.